The auction hall shimmered with gold-trimmed curtains and holographic chandeliers, but the atmosphere inside was suffocating. Everyone present, merchants, nobles, warlords, smugglers, and dignitaries from half a dozen alien empires, sat in tense silence, eyes fixed on the stage. A woman stood there, shackled in energy restraints, her towering form hunched slightly so she could fit inside the containment field. She was not an ordinary prisoner. She was a Berserker Princess. Her name was Kilira, the last daughter of the warlike Zrakari dominion. Born into a species known for their bloodthirst and fury, she had been a commander who left entire planets burning in her wake. But that was before betrayal, before her own council bound her in chains and sold her to the galactic underworld to be rid of her. The auctioneer, a thin insectoid whose mandibles clicked nervously, raised his voice. Lot number 7. The Berserker Princess of Zrakari, unbroken, unmatched, and undefeated in battle until her capture. A rare specimen, warrior, strategist, and weapon all in one. Opening bid. The numbers projected into the air. 10 million credits. And yet the hall was silent. No one dared to move. The reputation of the Berserker Princess was legend. Even restrained, the fire in her crimson eyes promised death to anyone foolish enough to claim her. Owning her would be like holding a plasma grenade with the pin half pulled. A whisper moved through the crowd. She killed 4 fleets with a single maneuver. She fights until nothing moves but corpses. They say even her blood burns. Kilira's lips curled into a humorless smile. She could feel their fear. Let them tremble. The auctioneer's mandibles clicked again. Opening bid, 10 million credits. Do I hear 10 million? 10 million. Still silence. Nobles shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Warlords looked away. No empire dared risk unleashing her wrath under their control. Until, I'll take her. The voice was calm, almost lazy. Every head turned. From the back of the hall, a lone figure raised his hand. He wasn't a warlord nor a merchant prince. He wasn't even cloaked in luxury like the others. He was human. A tall, broad-shouldered man in a plain jacket, with calloused hands and the kind of face that looked like it had weathered storms. The auctioneer froze, unsure if he had heard correctly. Sir, did you say you will bid? The man gave a single nod. 10 million. A murmur rippled through the hall. A human. Madness. He won't survive the night. He'll be torn apart. Kilira herself blinked in disbelief. Of all the species, of all the fools, a fragile human had bid on her. The auctioneer coughed nervously but confirmed. We have 10 million. Going once, going twice. Sold. The hammer struck. The crowd erupted into hushed whispers. The Berserker Princess belonged to him. The middle. Her chains hummed as guards escorted her to the private chamber where her new owner waited. Kilira had already decided how this would go. She would break her shackles, slaughter anyone in her path, and strangle the fool who thought to purchase her. When the doors slid open, she stepped in, ready to unleash fury. But the human was not armed, not protected. He stood alone, leaning casually against the wall, sipping from a flask. You must be joking, Kilira snarled, her voice low and venomous. Do you have a death wish, human? He met her glare without flinching. Name's Rylan. And no, not really. She pulled at her restraints. Release me, and I'll make your death swift. Instead of fear, he chuckled. You've got it all wrong. I didn't buy you to own you. That made her pause. Her people had been sold as gladiators, slaves, and trophies before. She expected chains, expected humiliation. But this human, spoke differently. Then why? She demanded. He shrugged. Because no one else dared. And I don't like seeing anyone caged. Even a Berserker Princess. Kilira narrowed her eyes, studying him. Was it pity? Well, his gaze wasn't soft. It was steady, like someone who had seen war and chosen his ground. You're either braver than most, or stupider. Maybe both, he admitted and walked forward. To her shock, he placed his hand on the restraints, and the locks disengaged. The energy cuffs fell away. Her muscles surged with freedom. For the first time in months, she could breathe without resistance. She could kill him now. Break his neck with a flick of her wrist. And yet she didn't. Because he turned his back on her. Just like that. No hesitation. Come on, Ryland said. If we're going to survive, we need to move before those vultures decide they want you after all. They escaped the auction house under heavy fire. Ryland had planned the route, smuggled explosives into the ventilation shafts, and stolen a starship waiting at the docks. Kilira found herself grudgingly impressed. You're no mere merchant, she said as the ship roared into hyperspace. Ryland gave her a grin. Was a soldier once. Then a merc. Now, just a man trying to keep breathing. Days turned to weeks as they traveled together. The galaxy branded him a fool, and her a curse. Bounty hunters chased them. Assassins struck in the night. Through it all, Ryland fought with precision, grit, and a strange calmness that unsettled even her. Kilira had been raised to despise weakness. To her, humans were soft creatures. Fragile bones, short lives, too much heart and not enough power. But this one kept standing even when he bled. One night, as they hid in the ruins of an abandoned moon fortress, Kilira finally asked, "Why risk yourself for me? You know what I am. What I've done." Ryland was quiet for a moment. The firelight flickered across his face. "Because I know what it's like to be thrown away," he said finally. "My world lost a war. I lost everything. And the galaxy moved on like we were nothing. Nobody deserves chains, Kilira. Not you. Not me." Her chest tightened at his words. Nobody had ever spoken to her like that. Not as a weapon, not as a princess, but as a person. For the first time in her life, she felt something other than rage. The ending. Their journey came to a head when the Zrakari Dominion itself came hunting. Kilira's own kin wanted her silenced, her blood erased from the line. A fleet of warships cornered them on the rim of a dying star system. As the ships closed in, Kilira felt the old fury rise. The Berserker Princess would fight to the end. But then she looked at Ryland, calmly setting the ship's defenses, and a different resolve sparked in her chest. Not this time. Not alone. She stood beside him. "If I fall with honor. But I will not fall without you, human." Ryland smirked. "Good. Because I've got a plan." The battle that followed became legend. Ryland's tactical brilliance combined with Kilira's raw fury turned the impossible fight into chaos. They disabled the enemy flagship, broadcast the Dominion's betrayal across every channel, and rallied the oppressed clans of Zrakari to rebellion. When the dust cleared, Kilira was no longer a prisoner. She was a queen in exile, her name burning across the stars. And beside her, always, was the lone human who had raised his hand when no one else dared. In the throne room of her reclaimed fortress, Kilira turned to him. The hall was filled with warriors kneeling, banners raised, chants of her name echoing. But her voice cut through them all. "Rise, Ryland of Earth. No longer my savior, no longer my captor, but my equal, my chosen."